you go into these games and you're kind of all over the place trying to think of how it's going to play out, all the different scenarios. And I can honestly say I'm not sure that any of the scenarios that I thought about, involved us going on a run like we did that first half. But we were pretty focused, and we were pretty locked in together, and that's the best half of basketball that the best 20 minutes that I've seen in a long time from our team. Not just this team, but it's happened other times, but this is about as good as it gets.
All right, at this time, we will open up the questions for the student athletes. Please wait for the microphone and state your name and media affiliation before your question. Questions for the student athletes. We'll go front right to Roger first.
Azzi, I know it's got to be difficult, but can you try to describe what it was like for you today, just going out 34 points in your final game at Gampel and just seemingly making every basket?
I think what it felt like to me, I felt like I reached flow state for a second. My teammates were just finding me, sending me great screens. I don't even know. I feel like I wasn't really thinking when I was open. I was like, okay, I'm going to shoot it.
Questions for the student athletes? Yep, we'll go front left here.
Jordan Kimball, Daily Orange. Azzi, just what's it like, obviously, in this atmosphere? I know at the end you took, a photo of the student section, but it being your final game here at Gampel, just what's it feel like?
Yeah, Gampel's been home for the last 5 years, and when people say, like, no place compares, it really doesn't. No environment, the crowd, the fans, the students, everything about this place is amazing. So to be able to play here one last time, have a great team win like we did tonight, I couldn't have asked for anything better.
Questions for the student athletes? We'll go back in the blue.
Alex Lansko, WHUS Radio. Azzi, do you have a favorite moment at Gampel Pavilion during your 5 years here?
I don't know. There's been so many great moments, great wins. I don't know if I can pick just one. Tonight would be up there.
Yep, we'll go back to Roger, front right.
Azzi, why was it important for you to go to the student section and thank them, take pictures with them today? And what did that feel like to have them all hugging you, surrounding you?
Yeah, it's incredible. You really feel the love in here every night, from whether it's a student section or the rest of the fans. But for them to show up every single game, it means a lot. I mean, we know how hard it is to be a student here. They've got class tomorrow, had class today, but they come every single game, bring the energy, and to hear them nonstop throughout the game, they're like our sixth man.
Sarah, can you just talk about the game she played? You're an elite player who's had great games before, but have you seen anything quite like that? I mean, she just couldn't miss, it seemed like.
I mean, that's kind of what Azzi does not miss. But I'm happy to see, her at her most confident self. It's going to be really important in the long run, and just really happy for her.
Yep, we'll go second row left and then in front of him.
Vicky Fulkerson from the New London Day. Sarah, what Coach said about that was as locked in as you guys have been to, start a game in the first half. You went on a 31-0 run. Is that like what was your mood to start the game, kind of. And did you feel like you were that ready to go for this game? Is that one of the best feelings that you've had in a game this year?
I would say so. I feel like it started at practice and shoot around. I feel like we were all on the same page and all, focused on our goal and focused on the other team. So I think it started there for anything.
For either of you, just kind of what was the expectation of Syracuse's defense going in, and how did it live up to that, or maybe not live up to that, and how do you think that contributed to that early run?
We knew that they like to play zone, so we worked a lot on our zone offense yesterday, just working on moving.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Yep, we'll go back left and then back to Roger.
Sam Reese, WJPZ. AZ, I know you and Caroline have shared kind of a special relationship over the years, just playing together. So for this to be your last game together at Gampel Pavilion with all you guys have gone through, injuries and everything she's gone through, for her to get her opportunity there in the fourth quarter, big ovation from the crowd. How cool was that, and what does she mean to you?
Yeah, Caroline, as everyone knows, means a lot to me. We've been through a lot these 5 years, but then also having been best friends since 7th grade. It's just amazing to see how she's grown, and to be here with her. Not many people can say they've, went to college with their best friend, went through all this. And so to see her, to get to share this moment with her meant a lot, and to see her go out there and do her thing was great.
Okay, we'll go to Roger, front right.
Easy, can you talk about that 31-0 run? What felt like was going right during it, and how great was your defense in that first half? You guys just seemed totally locked in.
Yeah, and I think our defense really started with Sarah Williams tonight. She really took pride in her matchup, I think she held their best score to 4 or 6 when she was in the game, and so for her to start the game out like that, really taking pride of that, and all of us in help side trying to have her back whenever we could. But I think tonight it started with Sarah Williams' intensity, and we just fed off her.
And as you're going through that run, does it feel like you're just in complete control of the game, or just playing with friends out on the playground with no cares? What was that like?
Yeah, the way we started the game is definitely what we work for in practice. All the different situations coaches throw at us. This is the kind of game that we hope to play after going through all that, is to just play our best basketball play, get stops, kick it up, get threes, get layups in transition, and then to feel that energy from the crowd, just keep that rolling.
All right, we'll go to Sean on the right.
Sarah, you all had active hands on defense throughout the entire game. A lot of steal. Oh, I'm Sean Humphrey with Fox 621. A lot of steals, blocks, forced turnovers. What specifically are you all practicing to kind of make sure you can take the ball away and contest shots without fouling?
Pretty much what you said, just trying to contest without fouling. They call fouls in practice, and we're used to hearing the whistle, but we're trying to, play defense with our hands up and being each other's help, so that we know we don't have to foul them.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Oh, we'll go front left here. Last question.
AZ, just where do you feel like you've grown the most in your career since when you started to where you are now?
I think my defense has gotten a lot better, and then I think I'd say my off the ball movement has gotten a lot better as well.
Thank you for your time. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
All right, we'll now start with questions for Coach. We'll go to Vicky, front left, and then we'll go front left here.
I don't know how I could ever follow that up. That was riveting.
Gino, what was that performance from AZ? In the first half, you took her out with a couple seconds left, and as she ran to the bench, you kind of just like grinned at her. Like what was it like to watch her do that in her last game here?
You know, her teammates got her the ball, and they put their hands up. She could high-five them easily. Didn't have to work real hard to find them. They were wide open on the bench. Yeah, that's about it.
We'll go front.
You know, you're supposed to have fun when you play this game, right? I mean, it's still a game. It's called basketball, but it's the game of basketball. And you're supposed to have fun playing it. Sometimes, you know, in this environment, that gets lost, you know, that we try really, really hard to make it fun. And I get a kick out of watching them celebrate each other's achievements. You know, that's the highest compliment that you can give players, is that they enjoy when other people are successful. And I can't say enough about our student section. You know, today was the first day of school for second semester, and I don't know, it looked like there's like 3,000 people up there or something like that. I don't know, but they had incredible energy, and they were like that all year. And it just adds, you know, when you're watching kids that you go to class with and you're having a blast, and you're watching, you know, us play the way we played. It really, it made it a real meaningful, special night for these guys.
Harris Pemberton with the Daily Orange. Coach, yesterday you said that Uche Azoje was one of the best players your team has seen this season, and your team did a really good job of limiting her tonight. Was that more of a testament to just the defensive identity of your team and being tenacious on the ball and making things uncomfortable? Or was there anything you did in particular to make life difficult for her?
I don't know that there was anything out of the ordinary. When you're playing against a player that, when they catch it, they're really hard to guard. I think the first order of business, I think you've got to make it difficult for them to get the normal amount of touches that they would get in a game. And then making sure that where those touches come from are not exactly where she likes to catch them. So I thought we did a really good job with that. We got great help, you know, from our guards. But, you know, when she gets a little bit of space, when she's able to, you know, get herself to her spot, I don't know that you could, you know, that you can do anything about it. You just have to appreciate and admire how she scores. But the other thing too, I think the pace that we were playing at, I think that got, she's young, you know, fresh first year kid playing, and you know, sometimes the best way to guard a really, really good players, get the pace going where they're, you know, they need a breather. So you get them off the court.
We'll go to Roger, front right.
Gino, can you talk about the job that Sarah Williams did against Uche? I mean, I know it was a team game. The guards helped out a lot, but she seemed pretty intense today and focused, like she was ready to go.
Yeah, I do think that. And the impact that she had, just, you know, the way AZ impacted the game obviously was spectacular. But Sarah Williams impacted the game significantly, and I think she got one bucket. But the way she played defensively, the rebounding, just the presence that she had, I thought it was as engaged and as energetic and as assertive as I've seen her. You know, the points don't reflect it, but everything else does.
Connor Pingatella with Syracuse.com. Gino, you said that was the best half you'd seen in a while. Just what was the mood in the halftime locker room?
The mood in the halftime locker room. I refrained, like the kid got a wide open layup and Heckle and Ashton Shade weren't there, so that took up half of my talk. I was pissed. Kidding. There wasn't much to talk about. There wasn't much that we could say. There wasn't a lot of adjustments that we needed to make. There weren't, concerns that we had going into the second half. We just talked about keeping the ball moving and making sure we find the right spots. And, we didn't pressure anymore. We just, and I think that affected us negatively in the third quarter. I think we lost a little bit of our, our edge that we had that whole first half. But, I think we got the job done that we had to do, and really wasn't a lot to say at halftime. Really, not much. Just that keep doing what we're doing because we were really good.
We have time for 2 more questions. We'll go back left.
Milo Hoffman, Citrus TV. Coach, going back to that first half, can you describe what you were thinking on the sidelines, seeing that 30-0 run unfold in front of your eyes?
You don't really know how many it is. You just know that we're getting the shots we want to get. You're surprised a little bit because you don't expect it to be like that, but you don't know the number. You'd have to look at stat sheet and go, hey, well, they went on a 31-0 run. But when you have really good players that want to play together and they want to share the ball, and things like that can happen. Watching the way we passed the ball, watching AZ and Blanca had a great game. So you just marvel at the things that they can do when they're all in sync, because it doesn't happen very often, or often enough, I should say. But what I was watching that first half, I knew I was watching something that was pretty, it reminded me of some of the NCAA Final Four games last year. It looked a lot like that.
All right, we'll go Roger, front right. Final question.
Go ahead. Hold on, Raj. Go ahead.
This one was just an easy one to close that book. Where does this win rank among birthday gifts you've ever received?
I don't know how many games have been played on March 23rd. I'm not sure. Probably the best one ever was in Philadelphia at the Palestra. We won to go to the Final Four. So that one was pretty memorable. And I was young. That was memorable too. Although a distant memorable.
Okay, final question for Roger.
Geno, you had mentioned the student section, but there was a time here a while ago where you were drawing 4,000, 5,000 for the first couple rounds of the games for the NCAA tournament. It was just mind-boggling. Can you just talk about how fulfilling it is to have the fans back again? A couple sellouts this year, a couple sellouts last year. It seems like they're appreciating you guys a little bit more again.
Yeah, I think one of the issues that started to happen here a while back was I thought the ticket prices were a little bit out of hand relative to what they were during the regular season sometimes. I thought some of the game times at times were not conducive to it. I think people got spoiled and said, I've seen them play enough. I will wait to go to the regionals when they could drive to the regionals, back in the day. When they had a regional in your region. That's why they're called regionals. And I think a lot of these kids now that are at school here have grown up with this. I think social media has made it more than just let's go to a basketball game. It's become kind of a, event thing. And they go, so you can go watch a game, take selfies, do Instagram, do some TikTok videos, and interact with people, and get caught up in the excitement of the game. So a lot has changed since the mid '90s, early thousands, early 2000s. So we're in an era now where I think our students grew up with this, and there's nothing like being here. And we probably have the best student section in the country. When you look up there, and the kids notice, they know, and they can tell how much energy they bring into this building, and forever grateful to Teds and Huskies and those guys for providing the impetus for the energy that they bring. I owe them one.